On Friday, it'll be slightly cooler. All right. Lots of you have been sending in your rat stories. And earlier I read one from a listener who said that they had taken the rat and brought it out to the country and released it on a farm. And this texter took exception to that. They say anyone who thinks rehoming rats is a solution to infestation is out of touch. Rats are dangerous pests. I grew up in a fairly poor household. We had to deal with rats eating our food, chewing our wires, and even in our beds. Don't let some warm and fuzzy cartoon version of rats fool you. They are pests. I feel bad for the farmer that had to deal with the rat released by your well-intentioned caller. And another texter said that yes, that rat seems to have made its way back to the city. This texter says, we went away on our honeymoon and when we got back, we had some visitors. We had a farmer friend who brought agricultural strength rat poison and put it everywhere. A week later, we could smell the problem was solved. And Ralph from Westmount says, we've had rats, very common in Westmount. Now, Ralph, that's not something I would have guessed. Ralph says they get in through broken sewer pipes. Indeed, the rat population in Montreal seems to be increasing. At least that's according to a report in today's La Presse. Bill Dowd is the president and CEO of Skedaddle, Humane Wildlife Control, and he joins me on the line. Good afternoon, Bill.
Good afternoon.
So, first of all, let's start with the numbers. Have you been seeing an increase in rats?
Oh, most definitely. We've seen probably over the course of the last 6 to 8 months, a quick number is about a 17% increase on our rat calls coming into our office.
Wow. Why do you think that is?
Well, as cities continue to grow and buildings are torn down and new ones go up, that displaces rats. There's more food sources out there. People are not recycling properly or putting their garbage in an area where rats or skunks or raccoons can get into them. And maybe some warmer weather can all kind of add together to see that increase in the rodent, being the mice and the rat population increasing.
But how common is it for them to get into houses?
Very, very common. We see mice and rats in approximately 75 to 80% of the homes we go into. So
really?
A homeowner may call us for a problem with a squirrel or a raccoon or birds. And, we do an investigation and look at the exterior of the home, look in their attic, and, sure enough, we'll see also evidence of mice or rats in the homes as well.
And how do they get in?
Well, they can get an opening size of a quarter for a rat. Mouse only needs the size of a dime, so they can come in at ground level where there's cracks in the foundation or gaps in the mortar where bricks are, they leave a weak vent to allow proper breathing of the wall. They can get in a roof line. Typically on every single residential home, there can be anywhere from 35 to 50 common entry areas that mice or rats will use to get inside the home and then start reproducing in the walls or in the attic.
Right. I thought you were going to say 35 to 50 mice or rats in the home, but I guess, yeah, so then once they get in, where do they live?
Well, they'll live in the wall cavities, in the attic space, and 35 to 50 mice or rats in a home is not uncommon.
Oh, come on!
They can reproduce every 21 days. So 2 or 3 mice can lead to a very large amount, a very large infestation fairly quickly.
Wow. Back to the rats. I mean, do we lump rats and mice together? Are they the same kind of threat?
Basically, yes. A rat basically is just a large mouse, more or less. But both of them have they chew electrical wiring. They defecate constantly. So there's a lot of diseases and obviously for humans issues with that, but also structural damage to the property.
We had a clip that we played earlier from a woman who told a story, a very entertaining story, I have to say. But basically, she went to the bathroom, or she heard this sort of lapping sound, and there was basically a rat swimming around her toilet bowl. How common is it for them to come up through the pipes? Because that's the kind of cliche, right? Rats in the sewer.
Well, yeah, and that does happen. We do get calls like that where they, especially in older structures where the plumbing lines, maybe the old cast iron coming in from the street, where rats will get into that sewer line and then work their way up. And then just the way a rat's body, they can kind of squish down and squeeze in the tiniest of openings. They can get through the trap in your toilet and, will come right up into your toilet. So you want to kind of be careful always before you sit down.
Oh my God. From your point of view as a wildlife expert, I mean, you know that sort of characterization of rats as being slightly cunning. I mean, are they smart?
Oh yes, they're very intelligent. Finding out where they're coming and going. That you don't usually see them in your home. You have to look for evidence, whether it's droppings or eating food sources, or hearing like a scratching or maybe a little running on your ceiling or in your walls are kind of the telltale signs that you have a problem with mice or rats.
So what do you do when you're called in for a rat problem?
Well, our approach is kind of unique. We figure out where the rats are coming and going. Most companies or homeowners might want to put down poison, but that's only going to solve some of the issues, because until you find the entry point and mouse or rat-proof your home, they're always going to be able to gain entry. So we're looking for those entry points, and we'll get them out. We'll exclude them, mouse-proof or rat-proof the entire property, and give homeowners a lifetime guarantee. So it's a lot more thoroughness and, determining and sealing up all these areas, because we're never going to get rid of rats. They're in every city across North America. Cities that are larger population, like Montreal, obviously will have a higher rodent or rat population than, a smaller community. So they're here to stay. So us as homeowners, whether we're animal proofing our home for mice or rats, raccoons, squirrels, take care of your property, because all these animals are here to stay in the urban environment.
So a lot of people were commenting on, we had that texter who said that they had relocated a rat to the country. How do you feel about that?
Probably, 70% of all relocated animals die, so it probably didn't survive. But, as I said, there's so many in Montreal, you're never going to get rid of them all. And, as soon as you take one away, another one's just going to move in and take its place. Or, because they're reproducing so quickly, more will be born, more food sources, more den sites, and the population just continues to increase in the urban jungle.
I'm going to leave you with that nice thought, Bill. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that was Bill Dowd. He is the president and CEO of Skedaddle Humane Wildlife Control. So he says poison, not really going to get rid of the problem. Don't relocate them. You got to seal off your whole house. So apparently rat population is on the rise in Montreal. So I never understand, if you seal off your house, where they go. Like, I guess they just go to your neighbors. Well, that's okay. I mean, as long as you don't have them. All right.